Understood as a deterrent isn't just approach, but just completely crossed.
Right. Unequivocally.
And then for the first time in this conflict, you get a kinetic response. I mean, direct military action lighting up the headlines. That's exactly what happened recently. Poland, its airspace.
Yeah.
We're talking about Poland shooting down multiple Russian drones during a big strike on Ukraine. Our sources are calling it a first-of-its-kind NATO kinetic response in this war.
Which is a major statement in itself.
It really is. This isn't just, a routine border thing. It feels like a critical shift, doesn't it? Redefining regional security.
Absolutely. High stakes.
So we've gathered a stack of recent reports, newswires, analyses, Poland Today, Reuters, Bloomberg, Central Banking. Quite a mix.
Good sources.
Our mission today.
Yeah.
To unpack not just what happened, factually, but to really dig into what this aggressive act and Poland's response means for security, for economic stability there, and, the future posture of NATO itself.
Yeah.
Okay, let's unpack this.
And right away, what's really striking, I think, is how the Polish government framed it. Immediately.
How so?
They called it an act of aggression. Publicly. No hedging.
Wow, okay. Strong words.
Very. Not cautious diplomacy. It was a clear declaration. And crucially, the reports stress Poland wasn't alone here.
Right.
It says Allied jets assisted. That little detail, it's huge.
Meaning?
It suggests, maybe not a total reinterpretation, but certainly a very active application of NATO's defensive stance. Protecting member airspace even when the main fight is next door against a non-member.
That does blur the lines, doesn't it?
It really does. It sets a precedent. Moving maybe beyond just monitoring to, active interception inside NATO borders, even if Poland wasn't the primary target.
That feels like that first-of-its-kind label really fits then.
Exactly. And that ripples through everything. Defense spending, economic policy, logistics. It's all connected.
Okay, so the incident itself, you said stark aggressive, multiple drones.
Multiple drones, yes.
Yeah.
Violating Polish airspace during a massive strike on Ukraine.
So not just one accidentally drifting over.
Doesn't sound like it. The numbers suggest something more, brazen. A real threat.
And our sources called it the most serious breach yet.
They did, which tells you this isn't just another blip, it's an escalation. And that phrase, again, first of its kind, NATO kinetic response.
It marks a turning point.
Definitely. The theoretical line, the deterrence boundary, was physically defended, actively.
Someone said, quiet deterrence just got louder. I like that.
It captures it perfectly. It's not just warnings anymore, it's tangible action. So for you, the listener, this means the rules of engagement, written or unwritten, they're visibly changing.
NATO's signaling its eastern flank airspace is a red line.
A hard red line, and it'll be defended with force. It pushes the alliance towards a more maybe proactive defense against these kinds of indirect threats spilling over.
It's easy to talk about kinetic responses, but then you read about debris. Debris from a drone hitting a home. And wire Brucey brings it right down to the human level, doesn't it? Thankfully, no injuries reported.
Which is a relief, but still.
Still a very close call for people just living their lives near the border.
Yeah, absolutely. And the aftermath shows a nation, on high alert.
What did the report say?
Crisis teams swept eastern regions for fragments. So quick response, damage assessment, but also intelligence gathering.
Trying to figure out the drones, trajectories.
Exactly. And critically, the alert level stays high. Scrambles continue along the PLUA frontier. Coordination with NATO air defenses remains elevated.
So not just a temporary reaction.
No, this feels like a new normal, a constant state of readiness, persistently vigilant.
That must put a huge strain on personnel resources.
Immense operational and psychological demands, yes. It's a long-term commitment now, drawing a thicker line in the sky, basically.
Okay, so this elevated readiness, this louder deterrence, how do you pay for it? That's the big question.
Ah, yes, the money.
It sounds like this incident might have sort of fast-tracked some major EU funding commitments.
That's exactly where it gets really interesting. Security isn't cheap, right? And this needs sustained funding.
So what's happening?
We're seeing the EU launch this new Security Action for Europe fund, SAFE.
SAFE. Okay.
And if you connect this to the bigger picture, this isn't just about Poland, it's about long-term readiness across Europe.
Makes sense. And Poland's share.
Poland is set to receive 43.7 billion.
Billion. With a B.
With a B. 43.7 billion euros. It's a colossal figure.
Wow.
And our sources say it's the biggest slice of the whole SAFE fund.
That really underlines Poland's strategic importance, doesn't it? Frontline state, critical hub.
Absolutely. And the money's targeted. Specific areas.
Like what?
Okay, it lists air missile defense, obvious connection there to the drones, artillery, drones, and anti-drone capabilities.
Covering both sides of that tech.
Right. Then logistics, super important, often overlooked, and cyber.
Let's break that down a bit. Air missile defense, that's the immediate shield.
Direct response to these kinds of threats, yeah. Building a stronger shield.
Artillery and drones, modern warfare staples.
Essential firepower, intelligence gathering, making sure they have what they need on the ground.
Anti-drone systems countering these specific threats.
Crucial. Moving beyond just shooting them down to actively neutralizing them, disrupting them.
Logistics getting everything where it needs to be.
The backbone. Ensuring forces can move, be supplied, sustained. Vital for any real defense posture.
And cyber, the invisible front line.
Always there. Protecting critical networks, infrastructure, just as important as physical defense.
So it's not just patching holes, it's a full strategic build-out.
Exactly. Preparing for future challenges, projecting deterrence. It's multi-domain security.
That's a huge commitment, a real pivot. But okay, even with all this focus on security, defense spending, Poland still has a domestic economy to manage.
Always the balancing act.
Life goes on, right?
Yeah.
They have inflation targets, growth concerns. Their central bank just made a rate decision.
It did. The NBP, the National Bank of Poland, made what's called an aftercut.
Aftercut, meaning
they cut rates after inflation had been high, but has now come down significantly. It signals a bit of a shift.
Okay, so inflation is down.
Yeah, August CPI, the main inflation measure, came in at 2.8% year over year, much lower.
So the MPC, their Monetary Policy Council,
decided last week it was time to ease borrowing costs a bit. Try to support the domestic economy, stimulate growth, even with all the defense spending ramping up.
they're being cautious.
Oh, yeah. Guidance stays data dependent. Future moves depend on how inflation, growth, all the numbers look going forward.
Which raises that big question, doesn't it? For you, the listener.
Yeah.
How does a country like Poland balance this? Urgent defense needs versus economic stability and growth.
It's a massive tightrope walk. Needs incredible fiscal discipline, strategic foresight, especially when things are so unpredictable geopolitically.
Definitely a tightrope. And we'll get another piece of data soon. Core inflation.
Yep. The next core inflation read is due September 16th, another key indicator to watch.
So what does this mix mean for how markets, how policymakers see Poland's economic future?
Especially with this louder security posture now, it's complex.
It is complex. That interplay, defense spending, inflation, interest rates, that's going to shape the narrative. For investors, it's about, can Poland handle these huge defense costs without messing up its fiscal health or stopping the economic recovery?
So what should people watch?
Watch the PLN, the Polish zloty. Its stability tells you a lot about international market confidence.
Okay.
And watch front-end yields. Interest rates on short-term government bonds. They're super sensitive to expected future rates and risk perception.
So the currency and short-term bond rates, those are the immediate financial pulse points.
Exactly. Those will give you a real-time read.
Got it. Okay, so we've covered the incident, the big money response, the economic balancing act. But these tensions, they aren't just abstract, are they? They hit the ground at the borders.
Very much so. Logistics, trade, it's all affected.
We saw something recently, a disruption. Yeah, the sources mentioned a Medica flash blockade on September 6th.
Medica, that's a major border crossing with Ukraine.
It is. The good news, it ended the same day, so resolved quickly. But it highlights the risk. Flows might be normal now, but the report warns snap actions remain a risk.
Meaning sudden disruptions are still possible.
Exactly. Think about the impact. Delays for agricultural exports, vital for both countries, or manufacturing parts for just-in-time production. Even a short blockade ripples outwards.
So businesses have to plan for that uncertainty.
They have to build buffers into ETAs, add extra time to delivery estimates. That adds cost, complexity, impacts competitiveness.
It's a real, tangible consequence of the security situation for everyday trade.
Proof that even a small, quickly fixed local issue can have wider economic effects when tensions are high.
So wrapping all this together, the drone shoot down, the EU money, the economy, the border friction, what should we be looking for next, like in the next day or two?
Okay, to keep tracking this, 3 specific things to watch.
Lay them out for us.
First, the Polish mod brief on drone shoot-downs. Ministry of Defense, look for details.
Oh, what kind of detail?
Intercept count, how many, success rate, recovery sites, where did debris land, what can they learn from it, and critically, any mention of rules of engagement tweaks.
Changes to how they're allowed to respond.
Yeah.
formalizing the latter deterrence.
Precisely. Second, keep an eye on EU safe timelines. Which Polish programs get funded first?
Air defense versus counter-drone systems, for example.
Exactly. Is it the immediate shield or the active neutralizing tech? Where the first wave of money goes tells you their most urgent priority right now.
Makes sense. And third,
Third, and most immediate maybe, market reaction to security headlines. Watch the PLN, the zloty again, and especially those front-end yields.
short-term bond rates.
Yeah, any sharp moves there. That signals how investors are feeling, how they're pricing in this new risk environment, and maybe what they expect from the NBP next.
Okay, so Modity brief details, EU funding priorities, and market reactions, PLN and yields. Got it. So when we step back, what we've really seen today is Poland stepping into this.
Wow.
Clearer, a much more assertive role, NATO's new frontier.
Yeah.
That drone incident, it wasn't just a newsflash. It felt like a pivot point where that quiet deterrence got louder.
It transformed the abstract line into something physically defended.
A kinetic response that redefined the boundary in real time.
That we connected all up, yeah.
Right.
Drones crossed the line. Poland, with allies, answered action.
But it doesn't stop there.
No. Now it's a long game. Watch the money, that huge EU safe fund, where it goes. And follow the math, the NBP's Economic Balancing Act. Those are the forces turning today's spike, today's kinetic response, into a lasting, longer-term defense posture for Poland and really for NATO's whole eastern flank.
Exactly. So as Poland solidifies this position, takes in this massive investment, adapts its whole posture, what does this new, louder deterrence actually mean for the future of European security? And, how might this big shift reshape alliances, military thinking, but also economic priorities, trade, everything, really, in the years to come?
That's definitely something to keep thinking about as this all continues to unfold. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.